Chapter 10. Lolly was a lumpy woman who spoke too loudly and who wore too much lipstick. She entered the house and immediately spotted Edward sitting on the living room couch. "What's this?" she said. She puts down her suit and picked Edward up by one foot. She held him upside down. "That's Susanna," said Nellie. "Susanna?" shouted Lolly. She gave Edward a shake. His dress was up over his head, and he could see nothing. Already he had formed a deep and abiding hatred for Lolly. "Your father found her," said Nellie. "She came out in a net, and she didn't have no clothes on her. So I made her some dresses." "Have you gone, maid?" shouted Lolly. "Rabbits don't need clothes." "Well," said Nellie. Her voice shook. "This one seemed to." Lolly tossed Edward back on the couch. He landed face down with his arm over his head and his dress still over his face, and he stayed that way through dinner. "Why have you got out that old high cheers?" shouts Lolly. "Oh, don't pay it no mind," said Nellie. "Your father was just gluing on a missing piece." "Wasn't you, Lawrence?" "That's right," said Lawrence, without looking up from his plate. Of course, after dinner, Edward did not go outside and standing beneath the stars to have a smoke with Lawrence. And Nellie, for the first time since Edward had been with her, did not sing him a lullaby. In fact, Edward was ignored and forgotten about until the next morning, when Lolly picked him up again and pulled his dress down away from his face and stared him in the eye. "Got the old folks bewitched down me?" said Lolly. "I heard the talk in town that they've been treating you like a rabbit child." Edward stared back at Lolly. Her lipstick was bright and bloody red. He felt a cold breeze through the room. "Was the door open somewhere?" "Well, you don't fool me," she said. She gave him a shake. "We'll be taking a trip together, you and me." Holding Edward by the ear, Lolly marched into the kitchen and shoved him face down in the rubbish bin. "Ma," Lolly shouts, "I'm taking the truck. I'm going to head out and do some errands." "Okay," Nellie, tremulous voice. "That's wonderful there." "Goodbye, then." "Goodbye, then, Edward," as Lolly hauled the rubbish bin out to the truck. "Goodbye," Nellie called again, louder this time. Edward felt a sharp pain somewhere deep inside his china chest. For the first time, his heart called out to him. It said two words: "Nellie, Lawrence."